Hello folks, welcome to the Wednesday forecast, and let's get started with looking at the pairs. So first we start with the euro and the US dollar, and I was in a trade right here. It was a 1% loss, so let me take it back to see what I was seeing. So at this point what I was seeing a nice descending, and then I was seeing this nice impulse down, one candle pullback and a continuation. So this was a really high probability for me, and then we got this clean push and a clean close. So I did set my order. Now, to be fully honest, this one was more of a valid trade than high probability. So up to this point this price action looked very good. It looked very high probability, but to be honest, this push was not enough and I should have stayed out of this trade, because on the euro and the US dollar I need to be more patient. I need to see at least one more candle down, or at least for this to be a larger push down, so to go a little bit further down. So this unfortunately did not fit my plan, but I had fear of missing out, and I actually saw this as a nice enough push, placed a pending order, and then got stopped out for a 1% loss. But looking back at it, I should have seen that this is not enough on this particular pair. If this was Aussie US dollar, this would have been a textbook trade, but on the euro US dollar, this is actually not that good. So I should have noticed that, and I should have stayed out of this particular trade. But that's what happens. That's trading. It can happen. But we need to always stick to our plan. So unfortunately this time I did not stick to my plan enough, and I need to be more careful next time. So then we did reverse to the upside. So we got a reversal from this descending structure. As we can see here, we got this descending and then we did reverse to the upside, got a huge wick, or maybe a large wick, and then we did form a flag. So let's see, where did the flag form? The flag was right, let me see here. So here was the entry candle for the flag. So as you can see, we got the first part of the pullback, small pause, second part of the pullback, and the entry candle is the first bullish candle. But for me personally, I did not like this impulse. This impulse was not enough. I was seeing signs of weakness, so I was seeing large candles, large wicks to the upside. As you can see, 3 large wicks and then one huge wick. So for me personally, I didn't want to enter any trades. I was waiting for the break of the high or the low, and I am still waiting for the break of the high or the low. And I am expecting to actually see a larger range. We know that the euro really likes to range between the high and the low for a long time, so this is definitely expected. Now what I am looking for to enter in on a trade, I'm looking for this momentum to continue. So I'm looking for another large impulse up and then a nice flag, or I'm looking for a nice large push down and then also a nice flag, or I will be seeing if we get maybe a descending structure that breaks the low and then we reverse to the upside. That would also be okay. Or if we ascend and then get a reversal to a downside, something like this, I would also be entering that trade. So also be careful about the liquidity areas below and above the range, where the price can just break and retrace. So we need to see a large push through it, or we need to see price ascend or descend into these liquidity areas. And these liquidity areas are here because when the price is range bound, traders that are buying the range keep their stops here. Traders selling the range keep their stops here. So these are zones of interest or liquidity areas, whatever you want to call them, and they are so price can easily reverse in these zones. So we need to be really careful. So here is the Euro Japanese yen. and there was some really clean price action. I really liked this ascending structure. It looked textbook, but unfortunately we did not reverse from this descending structure as I expected. So as you can see, we were just breaking the highs, retracing, breaking the highs, retracing, breaking the highs, and now we got a huge wick and a retrace. So at this point I'm just waiting for the break of the high or the low. I'm not looking for a flag. Actually, a flag has already formed, as we can see here. First part of the pullback, pause, second part of the pullback, and the entry candle is the first bullish candle. But for me personally, I don't see this as an impulse. I actually see this as continuing to ascend. So if I draw the lows and the highs, I just see this as more of an ascending structure. So what I want to see it ascend a bit more, and then I want to see a reversal, a nice high probability reversal. Or we know that on the euro pairs we can get an ascending and then impulse in the same direction like this. And if we get a large push, I will look to buy on some sort of a continuation pattern, whichever continuation pattern we get. If we do start to descend from here, I will be looking for a reversal to the upside. But one thing to note, when we get an ascending going into a descending, it usually ends up ranging for a long time. So I would be a bit more careful with this sort of a setup. I would not really like to see price action move from an ascending into a descending. So something to keep in mind, be a bit more careful if we do get a descending from here. And that's about it for the Euro Japanese yen. Currently not seeing anything interesting. As I said, I really liked this price action up, but then it just created a huge wick, retraced, and is not showing me anything. So now for the Aussie and the US dollar, what I can see right here is I can see an ascending going into a descending, and then now a range. I was expecting this range because we did get this volatility. So when we get this V is for volatility, we usually get a range, and then we continue in the direction of the second V leg, and exactly what is expected is now happening. So we are continuing in the direction of the second leg, and I do like this price action. So I do like that we got this V, we have got the range, and if we do continue up a bit more, I will be looking for a nice flag to buy, of course, or maybe a small pause, and then a nice break and retest. Also then it would be a trend because we would get the push up, pullback, and then another push. And I classify a trend as having a first impulse, pullback, second impulse. That for me is a trending market, so that would be really awesome. Be careful if the price starts to ascend. That means the move to the upside is exhausted and we are very probable to reverse. So be careful if we get that sort of price action. Or if we start to descend, I will look for a reversal to the upside. But I would not really like to see this price action because it would then just move back into this range bound area. So that would not really be high probability. And also what can happen, we can get another V reversal, something like this. Then I would look for a range, push down, and a nice flag, same as here. So that's the really common pattern that I'm always talking about. Now we can finally see one happen. So V, range, and then push up. Okay, so that's it for the Aussie and US dollar. I do like this push, I do like this impulse. I am looking to buy. Just be careful if we start to ascend that the move is then exhausted. So look to buy Aussie US dollar. And also look to buy Aussie Japanese yen. This one is looking very good. This one is looking textbook. There was a couple of opportunities to enter. So let me go through them. First, we did have this push right here. So we did have this range bound market in the prior price action, as we can see in this box. So huge wick up, huge wick down, expecting a larger range, which we didn't get. We actually impulsed to the upside one more time, but we broke this most recent high, got double wicks, retraced, pushed up a bit more, and maybe some people were seeing to buy at this point, so maybe they were looking to buy at this level right about here. But for me personally, this push was not enough. I wanted to see one more candle up like this, or I wanted for this to be a larger candle with a clean close, so without a wick. So I did stay out of this opportunity, and I would have been stopped out, so it's good that I did stay out. Let me actually see if I would be stopped out. I would. 12 pip stop. This was a 15 pip pullback, so it's good that I followed my plan on this one. And then what happened, the price did continue to the upside, and we did get this opportunity to enter on a combo trade right here. So this would be the entry area, this inside bar, and we also know that combos are really high probability on Aussie Japanese yen. They work out when the market is trending. I mean, they work out like 80% of the time or something like that. Of course, when the market is in a nice uptrend like this. But for me personally, I stayed out because I saw this huge wick. And when I see a huge wick like this is a really big wick. Let's measure it. So let me see. It's a 12 or 13 pip wick, which is absolutely huge. So I was expecting actually for the price to either reverse or give us a larger range. And I did stay out of this combo trade. A combo trade is a combination between a flag, which we got, and a break and retest, because we did retest the most recent high, or this inside bar. So it's called a combo. It's a combination of a flag and a break and retest entry, and it's the highest probability entry that I use. So in this particular case, I saw the huge wick. I wanted to be a bit more patient, and I stayed out of the trade, but it is running in heavy profit, so that is good to see. Some people that are in this are now banking some really nice percentage. Then we pushed up, created another huge wick, retraced, pushed up again, and we are now having this really clean close. I really like this price action, and I'm definitely looking for a nice flag like this. Definitely looking for it, because we got almost no wick. Or I'm looking for a small pullback, push up, break and retest trade. Any type of entry, I'm definitely taking it. This is in a heavy uptrend. We got two impulses up, we got a clean close. You cannot ask for better price action. This is textbook price action, so definitely be prepared to buy if it closes like it will close. Looks like it will close without a wick. So yeah, that's awesome. Be careful if we start to ascend, then don't buy, but look for a reversal, of course. When I say look for a buy, you really need to see a nice impulse up and then a break and a retest, or a nice clean flag to form. Don't just be taking any entries, don't just be taking a break and retest entry. That's just stupid, and you will end up with many losses. So stick to your plan, but definitely keep an eye on this pair. We can also descend. If we descend, I will look to enter on a long trade on this inside bar, but we really need to descend, and it needs to show me some clean price action. Or if we maybe get a combo at this point like this is a combo. As you can see, it's a flag and a break and retest, because it retests the inside bar where it broke up. So I would definitely be interested in this sort of price action, because combos are really high probability on the Aussie Japanese yen, especially when we don't get a wick and when we are in a heavy uptrend. So yeah, that's about it. Last possibility I have is that we create a V, then we push down, and then I would look to sell, but I don't really see this happening. I'm just forecasting it because it can happen, anything can happen. So if this pattern happens, be prepared, but I would say look for the trend. Also, I will not be entering if we get an aggressive retrace like this. This is then showing me a momentum shift, and it's showing me exactly that V reversal I just drew. So be a bit more careful if we do get a really aggressive retrace. That's it. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope you took some value. So be on the lookout for the Aussie pairs. They're moving, and look to buy. And I will see you guys in the next forecast, which will be on Thursday.